All right, let's do a basic hack with the 30-second hack brush paired with my favorite brush, the detail hack brush. So if these are the two brushes you have, here's how we're gonna do it. Again, this is the way I do it. There's not a right and a wrong way. Some people, I know when I started mascara, I would contour first because I had never contoured, so that's the part I was unsure about, and then I would fill in this all over color that I'm doing now with, or I would fill in everything else with this all over color that I'm doing now. So you can see my tints are almost all gone, so I'm having to reapply or go back in more than you'll have to, especially when they're new. You will barely touch those because it does not take a lot of product. So just ignore how often I'm having to dip into the color. The 30-second hack brush is named 30-second for a reason. It's really fast, so you can just quickly buff it on. I do put a little on my eyelid. One, it'll hold on my eyeshadow. I don't have extremely oily eyelids, but two, I have a lot of discoloration there. So I have done a layer all over, and you can't tell this, but I have used more product at the bottom of my face and barely any under my eyes because I know I'm gonna go back and add some brightener under my eyes, and you definitely don't want too much product, especially in an area where that's where we tend to show so much texture. And then I'm gonna go a little bit, just like right above my eyebrows, like the inch, because I'm gonna darken that part up there. So I've done a nice base layer of my nose and everything else, with the most product being used in a man's beard area. I'm mixing Sandy and June right now. June is probably still a little too light for me. It's my winter color, but you see I'm running low on Sandy, so. You'll know your makeup's too light and you need to start shading down. Shading up if it doesn't last all day or if it starts showing texture. I'll talk more about texture in a second. So I'm taking my detail hack brush. I switched to my contour and I'm literally on my cheekbone. Can you see that it's hitting the hard part of my cheekbone? And it needs to look crazy. Look how dark that is, okay? Because we're gonna blend it. And you can swipe as you get faster. You'll be able to do it faster. So because you'll learn where it is. And then I'm gonna start in my hairline and pull this forward. I'm blending as I go. Still in my contour. Now the contour is drier, so I had to like get in there and pick up a little more than I would have with the highlight. It's drier because it's meant to stay in one place, right? Because you're putting contour in exact places like on your nose and stuff. So we're just gonna do the bulk of my forehead. I'm only leaving about this part white. This is where I want the brightest part of my face. It's where I want the focus. And then I'll take what's left over. Not a lot of product down here usually. And I'll darken. I'm literally dragging that completely under my jawline to make it look more chiseled. And you can blend it down your neck. You wanna make sure there's no lines. That's why I just don't put a lot of product in the beginning. And then there's some fun things you can do, like give yourself a little shadow here to make it look like your lip is bigger than it is. You can line your lips with your contour. I do that all the time. I have really thin, especially my upper lip. All right, and then I'm gonna dip the side of this brush. It's my favorite part. Look at my nose. You see where the two shadows are? See the two lines? I haven't touched anything yet. We're just gonna take those two lines and we're gonna cheat and go in a little bit smaller than they actually are. And now look how narrow my nose looks. It's magic. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Don't err. If you can't keep them straight, don't make them go this way. You're gonna make the bottom of your nose look bigger. So when in doubt, at least err to the inside, to them pointing together at the bottom. The bottom of your nose is something that you'll have to play around with because the two lines down to narrow it out, or at least, even if your nose is already narrow, just to give more contrast. And again, blend these down the sides. You want to see them from the front. Again, before I had put contour there, you saw the shadows from the front. We're just bumping up the contrast. That's what a filter does. But the bottom of your nose, you'll have to play around. The basic premise is to make the, this part smaller and more defined. But the bottom, you'll have to play around with like, okay, well, this is the area that's bigger, so I want to darken it so it's not getting attention drawn to it, or this is the area that's bigger, or, if it's crooked, so I got to correct that. And there are detailed contours, nose contour videos. All right, so our highlighting, our contouring is done. We're going to add a little bit of brightener. I'm going to go to this end of you can try both sides and see what you like better, of the 30-second hack brush. And I'm going to go into my color that's a little bit brighter. And that sunlit is really bright. It's more for color correcting when you have dark circles, which mine aren't as dark today. So I'm going to mix it back with my Sandy or my June from earlier. And I'm just going to go all the way up to the lash line and all the way down. I'm just kind of painting it on, and I am not using a lot of product. Can you see how much I've used? And then I'm spreading that all around. Because where the dark and the light meet, that's what's making that contrast and making it look like our cheekbones are so high. All the way to the lash line. Do not just stay in your dark circle, but go all the way up to the lash line and down to the nose. And then I kind of straighten it up there. Make a nice straight little line. So now we're a little bit brighter. You can even take some fun extra tips and brighten these areas that are lighter, like these little bumps. And we want to keep the light in the center of our face. And then right here, like we said, okay? Like this little palm tree, so you can go up the center of your nose. Now I do that with the small end of the detail hack. So we were using the detail hack. You can take the small end and you can go right between those two dark lines you did with the brighter color. But remember, I'd already put a layer down of my base color because we don't want to put our light color straight on your skin. If you do that and it's too light, it's going to, one, not last all day, so maybe it'll look good for a while. But that's usually the area we need the most coverage, is right there under our eyes. That's where we look so sleepy. And if you look at my mascara before and afters, people don't look cakey and fake. They just look more awake, and it's because we're color correcting, like really like rolling back the age under our eye. This says nothing on it. I'm just blending around that lighter color that we did. So yeah, the lighter color goes in like a palm tree. And then you don't want it to look like a line right there like it does, so I'm just kind of swirling it around so that it's not such a clear cut. Now maybe I put too much light. So maybe I should have done that with the contour color and not thrown my brush on the floor. But we want to, just because I have a really big forehead. So, all right. Now, I love the blush and bronzer brush for blush. So since you don't have that, what you'll have to do is, I suppose, you got two choices. You can use your fingers. So I just dab 2 fingers in my sandstone. Let's do it different on each side. Or you can go back into the brush that you put on your all over color with. And you're going to put that right on the apples of your cheeks. See it down here? Because we're trying to keep our color in the center of our face instead of way out here. We are going to blend it out there, but I want to keep my face looking thinner. So I'm going to put the bulk of the color in the center. So now I'm just you can kind of circle. I don't know how much control I have with this one. I don't know why I like the B² brush better for this, or the BBF. One, because now I have to make sure I clean that off a little bit, and it'll surprise you. Like literally could do that and then go back to doing my highlighting the next day. If you don't have brush cleaner, you need some Houdini brush cleaner eventually, but you'll be surprised that you can just go between highlighting and contouring on this because it's all the same medium. So I do want to blend up because I want to keep my contour line high. So again, this isn't my favorite brush for it, but it gets the job done, okay? So on that side, I use my fingers to put the bulk of it on, just so that the bulk of that color wasn't on my brush, since you've only got 2 and you're going to use it for highlighting in the morning tomorrow. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I wash my brushes every day, because that's not a thing that happens, because real life. And then your highlight contour's done. As far as blending, I would probably just go back. Again, if you did your blush with that, just kind of make sure there's nothing going on. Obviously, you could do that on something beside your skin, but yeah, yellow. So I would just kind of look around, see if there's anywhere that needs extra blending. Sometimes I walk into another room, but that's it, okay? Usually what needs blending is my nose contour. If you didn't like the detail hack for some reason, you could squeeze this and do your nose contour. Then you got to draw a straight line. I love how the detail hack is already a straight line. And then all you have to do is take your lip color. This is Sandstone. It's my favorite. And then your lips are done. If you have Illuminator, this would be the time where you would go into that and tap it along where your dark and light line meet, where your cheekbones are. You're feeling the actual bone structure in your face. And all this is doing is drawing attention to it. And it's very subtle. You won't see it. It doesn't look like makeup. It'll just, when you're talking to somebody, it'll just hit the light and they'll be like, she looks pretty. They won't be like, her highlighter looks pretty, because it doesn't look like makeup. Okay, I like to put some right here in the Cupid's bow. This is perfume number 3. It smells really good. Kind of like an Abercrombie or Hollister. And then I put some in the center of my lip to make it look fuller. So anyway, that's it. So Sorry it was so long, but I wanted to walk you through step by step as you learn the new process.